All right, well, I'm here with my friend Fletcher. Fletcher, you've been doing this a long time, haven't you?
About 20-some years I've been doing this project.
Do you ever despair like you're not getting anywhere?
Well, honestly, sometimes it's disheartening to see the state of our country through seeing what's going on with our universities and so forth.
Yeah, definitely.
But I'm always encouraged when I come out and I see that when you show people the truth, it changes people's hearts and minds. And we don't do this a single day. People's hearts and minds don't get changed. And a lot of times they don't necessarily come and tell us. But we'll hear years later, somebody will come back and say, hey, I saw you at my campus when I was a freshman and you changed my mind about this. So that's very encouraging, and that the knowledge of that keeps us going even when we're discouraged sometimes.
Yeah, I think it's one of the most effective things that I've ever participated in. I mean, you get to see people change in front of your eyes, really, a lot of times.
I was so convinced when I saw the effectiveness of this, I literally quit my engineering career and came to work full-time doing pro-life activism.
That's a pretty big deal.
Because I knew that I wanted to see change. I knew that I wanted to be an effective pro-life advocate. But frankly, I just didn't see a lot that the movement was doing. It was really changing hearts and minds of the people. And we have to change public opinion before we can ever have a hope of changing public policy very much. And so when I saw how these pictures actually change the way people think and behave, I said, okay, well, that's worth devoting my time to.
Yeah, and the difference really is the graphic imagery, isn't it? It's not really the arguments as much as it is the imagery.
Well, the arguments are important, but without the imagery, the arguments don't have nearly the effect, because if people know what the baby is, who the baby is, if they don't know that abortion decapitates and dismembers that child, then it's just sort of an academic argument, and they see the unborn in dehumanized terms. They think of it as a blob of tissue, clump of cells, that sort of thing. But you can't argue that, honestly, when you're standing in front of a baby that's had its arms and legs cut off, it's been decapitated, dismembered. So it really changes the dynamic of the argument, because now you're arguing based on facts rather than false suppositions.
Yeah. The picture does paint 1,000 words. That scientific statement still hasn't changed.
That's exactly right.
So you guys are a small organization. One thing I did notice, because we've been talking on our Telegram channel a lot about men in the church, there are a lot of men that do volunteer for this, because it's fighting, it's on the front lines, it's missional, there's a lot to do, there's a lot of work involved, but you guys are a small organization. And I've heard you say several times, like, there's really no one else doing what you guys are doing.
Very few people are doing what we're doing. There are people that go out to the abortion clinic and will hold up a sign and engage people going into the clinic, and that's important. That doesn't engage the culture as a whole.
Yeah, it's kind of a last-minute emergency move. Yeah,
exactly. And for every one person that went into an abortion clinic last year to get an abortion, something like 150 or 200 people actually went to vote in the presidential election. Well, those 200 people are very important. Their votes are very important. It's very important that they understand who the baby is, what abortion does, so that they can make a moral voting decision, an informed voting decision, and a moral voting decision. And so we're out here engaging the culture, and that's very important. And I would encourage any man or woman who wants to really be effective and engage the culture, this is where it's at. We're out here showing people the truth. And also it opens up many opportunities to share the gospel, and you're certainly evidence of that. And you use this display as an opportunity to share the gospel, because people who've encountered abortion, who've paid for abortions, who've had abortions, they're in need of God's healing and forgiveness.
Yeah, absolutely, and it forces people to get real.
Yeah,
that's what I really like about it, and so much about gospel preaching has become theoretic.
Yeah,
and so this really brings it home. 20 years, you're probably a little tired of it.
Well, I don't say that.
You don't say that?
I don't know.
Okay,
I don't
good.
think I'm tired of it.
good.
No, I really enjoy coming out here and engaging with people.
That's great.
You know, my mission has changed, I think. Over the last 20 years, we've developed programs, materials, methods, strategies that really work, but they're not working at a large enough scale to really have the kind of massive change that we need in public opinion. We need more people doing this.
That was my next question. Is like, what is needed most?
More people, more help.
More people signing up with CBR?
We need staff members. You know, there are people, when we need to go somewhere and say, would you come with us and stand over there, we can get enough people to do that. We need people to think of themselves as leaders in this. People to say...
Organizers and such.
Organizers. Yeah. I mean, right now, today, I don't know that there's anybody else in the country that's on a campus with our display or display like this. Only one in the whole country today.
Yeah.
We need to be at dozens of campuses every day. We need to be on this campus every year, not once every 5 or 6 years.
Yeah. I mean, I show up for a day here and there, and I love it. But I know
we love having you. But I'd like to have you every day.
Thank you. But I do know that it's really, this is kind of the action part of it. But there's all the organizing beforehand.
That's right.
It's a real commitment.
To get here, we have full-time staff. I had to quit my engineering career, come to work full-time.
Lots of phone calls.
Other people had to quit their careers that they had studied for and come to work full-time doing this. Use the talents and skills and experience that God gave them to do something a little different. And this is a little different.
Yeah, it is.
And yes, it takes a long time to make all the arrangements, but we're here in this great university at a great location. You couldn't ask for a better place. And we're here for 2 days, and you know, we're engaging people. And we're confronting the culture of death. We're also identifying and encouraging students that are pro-life but feel like they don't have any voice, and we're helping give them voice. And one of the most encouraging things that I see around this display is when pro-life students are engaging their peers, and they're using our signs and our arguments as a prop, but they're the ones doing the work. They're the ones engaging their peers, and that's very important because they can engage their peers perhaps a lot better than I can.
I've also noticed that there are a lot of people who say, I'm pro-life, but I don't go for these pictures, and then after less than 5 minutes, they're walking away saying, okay, I can see how that works. And that, I think that's also pretty big.
That is big.
Yeah.
That is big.
Yeah. Well, thank you for what you do, Fletcher, and thank you for allowing me to participate.
Well, thank you for coming.
Yeah.
And I want everybody that listens to this to come join us for a week of doing this. And who knows, you might change your life.
And should abortionno.org, is that the place to go?
Abortionno.org, there's a place to volunteer. And just let it be known that you would like to join us on a genocide awareness project, and we'll certainly be back in touch with you. And by the way, prepare to travel.
Right.
You know, a lot of
which
people
is fun.
You know, it is. A lot of people say, well, yeah, when you're in my backyard, you know.
Right. It comes with traveling.
No, we want you to come for a week and really experience it. We'll feed you, we'll house you, we'll take care of you. You won't be neglected.
Right.
But come for a week.
Yeah. Well, I recommend it. So far, I've only done 1 day, but...
Well, that's all right. We're going to get you.
1 day at a time. All right. Thanks, Fletcher.